Hello, I'm David Chaston with 90 at 9, brought to you by interest.co.nz. This week at Everything You Need to Know in 90 seconds at 9 o'clock with news financial markets are still in a holding pattern. In an under-the-radar adjustment, the growth of American labour costs was not as high as initially reported for the third quarter. The change was significant. It was earlier reported as 3.3%, whereas the corrected level is just 2.3%. And US productivity actually unexpectedly dropped in the same period. And in a rare bipartisan deal, the American Congress has voted to back the US administration's US-Canada-Mexico trade deal after winning changes they say will make it better. In China, food prices pushed up their November CPI to a level higher than expected, driven by their pork crisis. Pork prices were up 110%, and along for the ride were other proteins, with beef up 22% and lamb prices up 14%. Non-food prices, however, rose just 1%. And on the producer price side, they actually fell 1.4%, slightly less than for October, but near historical lows. And China's bank debt growth picked up sharply in November after October's slump, with banks lending more than expected. Banks lent almost 1.4 trillion yuan in new loans in the latest month, and far higher than the 1.2 trillion expected. And that is far more than the weak 660 billion in October. The government's stimulus measures have started to support their economy. A new report from CBRE Group points to an unprecedented rise in the vacancy rates for office buildings in China's leading cities. According to the report, as of the end of the third quarter, the office building vacancy rate was at least 10% in all four of China's first-tier cities of Shanghai, Guangzhou, Beijing and Shenzhen, while vacancy rates were even higher in second-tier cities. In Canada, like New Zealand, they're also on a program to get banks to raise the amount of capital support by shareholders, announcing increased capital buffers for 2020. And back in the US, Boeing has said it will deliver less than half the airplanes in 2019 compared with 2018, and about half the level of its rival Airbus. The fallout from the 737 MAX disasters has been major. And the latest German and EU ZEW sentiment surveys suggest that the gloom is lifting in that region, with sharp improvements. The US Treasury 10-year yield is now at 1.85% and up 2 basis points overnight. Gold is now at $1,464 an ounce, and that's up $4 overnight. US oil prices are unchanged at just over $59 a barrel, while the Brent benchmark is still just over $64 a barrel. And the Kiwi dollar is marginally lower today at 65.4 US cents. On the cross rates, we're holding at 96 Australian cents, and against the euro, we've dipped to 59 euro cents. That puts the trade-weighted index little change at 70.6. I'm David Chaston. That was 90 at 9, brought to you by interest.co.nz.